Hey guys, how's it going? I'm going to do a Tour 10 video. So, let's check out my bag here for doing this. Looks like I got Sniper in there. I'm going to switch that to a Guardian. I think overall, for you guys should be using Guardian on Tour 10. Couple extra yards. But the backspin shot can be crucial on too many holes. Just too many to overlook. So I've done a couple of these matches already. I have not posted a video. I was just trying to get a good feel for it, remember the holes. Because I know some of these are on Tour 8 as well. And those are the ones more so that I'm kind of mentioning to you guys about making sure you have that so what I usually do is a skip shot here. I think it's going to be a little bit harder to pull it off here. Let's try it like this today. Trying to bring it in basically right to left, hit the fairway. Oh, I missed the fairway. I need to add more power. Probably needed to hit perfect ball too. And of course, I'm going up with Apocalypse. That's alright. Looks like he's going to try to shot copy me. It's not smart to go for the shot that I'm going for if you have topspin. The only reason I'm going for it is I don't have topspin. So I'd have to hit, the best shot is a topspin shot off the first fairway there. But you have to get very close to the edge. This shot, especially with Apocalypse 4, really terrible. He could play it off the rough. And you wouldn't use backspin if you were going to play it off the rough. Looks like he hit the rough. We both hit the rough. Pretty stupid shots. This is already off to a bad start, this video. It just seems like, you know, having a video that has no value. Almost best just to not even have the video. Well, let's see if we can do something kind of intelligent here. What I like to do is, you know, keep it away from the fringe, other surfaces. It looks like, you know, right in here, seems to be pretty consistent. Assuming I'm not going to have to play very much wind here. So, you know, I'm not going to play more than a ring. I'm going to play very little wind. Real slow with my release there. I feel like every time I start up playing, there's just I'm kind of slow starting to get back into the timing. Not to mention, you know, I don't play from the rough a lot. You've seen a lot of my videos. I intentionally avoid the rough on purpose. Let the other guys make their mistake. Well, on drivable par 4s, you really gotta force the issue a little bit. I'm just gonna have to find a better way to play this hole. But as I was saying, like it just takes me a couple minutes to get my timing back up to par. But it looks like this guy, well, nope, he shanked it in the hole. So we're not gonna get to a playoff. He beat me outright with a shank. So let's just start up another match and try to go from there. Kind of a terrible start off to this day. But that's all right. should be able to, you know, limit our mistakes from this point forward. Basically, here's what I want to see. Holes that I'm not going to have to worry about getting there. Like, I just want to be able to straight up play this guy and get to the tiebreaker. So I'm worried about holes like that where, you know, the guy, he'll hole out from the rough with a shank to take the hole, and I'm worried about holes like that as opposed to, you know, not getting to the playoff hole just because my clubs aren't really what they need to be. If I had a mile 6 right now, I'd be pretty good. I think I'm going to get some more top spin. As soon as I get some more top spin, I'll be in business, or at least some more yards. I'll take more yards. If you don't want to give me top spin, give me yards. So I usually move away from this ball. But man, this is a really bad wind. So I am just going to stick with it, play it on this hole. I don't usually play this ball on this hole, but this wind is just brutal. So I've never really seen anybody be too left here. So, you know, you can get pretty aggressive on the left fairway up here. Anything I've ever seen is guys miss because they don't play enough hook or whatever, and miss right. And this guy must have, what, 40 yards on me? What was he using? I don't know if you guys are paying attention. No, he doesn't have that many, but he does have some. Whew. He is right. Now, anytime that you have your shot arrow where it'll be off the cliff, you don't want to go for that shot. If you can't put your shot arrow up on top of the cliff up there, you don't want to go for that green. That's how you come up short. There's a glitch in the software where they lower your trajectory and it's going to come in way too low and the wind's not going to take the ball. It takes it, but it takes it ever so slowly. So the ball comes so low to the ground, kind of like what you see with the, you've seen the way that it comes out of the rough, like real low to the ground. It's very similar when you aim down a cliff, but with drivers or woods, I mean. Oh, wow. So right on the short end of this club, I'm even going to take off a little bit more just to be on the safe side. I'm pretty sure I was okay with all that backspin that I put, but better to be safe than sorry. Too short here is not a problem. So let's see if we can't give this next shot a run. What I like to do is I like to aim up on the green, I believe right on the front. You'll see what I like to do. You can play it like this. I don't think it comes in as true, so that's why I try to stay away from this. You'll find the hops will be kind of inconsistent, so I'll usually bring mine in right to left. Let's see what I can do on this guy here. Worst case scenario, I'll be to the tiebreaker, and we'll get to see some tiebreakers for this video. So I like to play mine, like I was mentioning, off the green here. This is a good landing zone. See how much lower this ball comes in? So don't be afraid to backspin this and up. And you see it's very glitchy with the way that I'll just move it just ever so slightly and it'll just completely change the shot shape. So here we're going to try to do 3 rings, play some curl, and not enough curl, or not enough actually either. I probably would have curled just a tiny bit more had I had a little bit more time, and I would have played a little bit more than 3 rings. But when you're running out of time, you know, it's safer just to at least keep it on the course. Make it to the tiebreaker hole. Don't shot clock. My favorite thing to do is take too long and shot clock. So this is kind of the important part of the video that we're about to get into here, which is the tiebreakers. So this is where, you know, I want you guys to focus on what I'm doing. And I mean, same for me, like, you know, I want to make sure that I'm focused as well. So I actually sometimes do put it on the other side of that cliff. It all just depends on, never put it in the cliff. That's my only suggestion. The ball comes in low, doesn't hop, and you end up in the cliff. So never put your shot arrow in the cliff. It's best to play it short and then add power as necessary. You're seeing this guy, you know, he's just changing his shot shape a little bit. He'll just play some rollout. I don't know why he's talking to himself, but okay. So, you know, you're going to see me do something similar here. Since he's so accurate here, I'm going to do a shot that also needs to be, you know, quite accurate. Something's being really glitchy with the way that this ball's coming in. Hoping it gets up there and it's close enough to beat this guy. It looks like it just is. But my graphics is really glitchy right now. I had really tough time hitting perfect ball there. So that was a little worrisome for me. Like, my shot arrow was really slow and sluggish. I usually try to, my method to kind of deal with that. Let me clear out one of these chests here real quick. Dart. But I did get 1 mile, of course. I couldn't have done that on a gold chest and got like 8. Where's dart? So let's get rid of this dart real quick. Alright, so this is what I do to free, you know, just a tiny bit of memory there. I'll close out all my apps, go back into the game when I start to see kind of sluggish performance from the app. It's probably best that I shut off the phone and just reboot it up. But I'm just going to roll with it because I'm not going to cut this video off for you guys right in between. But you see kind of my method there. I like to do 4 bars of backspin as a natural shot on that hole. And I'm sure you've seen it from some of the earlier tours. You've seen me play it with Sniper on 8. I'm sure you've seen me play it on hole 3, tour 3 as well, some videos. And my usual wood shot is about 4 bars of backspin. You see I've restricted it to 2 and just put the shot arrow on the edge of the cliff and then added just a touch of power just to kind of counter all those effects that you were seeing. Here I'll switch down. And it's so downwind that I don't want my topspin to get out of control here. So, and I know that I'm probably going to need to go at least five or so rings for that 5 or so sideways, which will equate to about 8 total. So I was just going 5 just straight sideways because you couldn't see me adding power. And you see I'm being very cautious with this. I didn't want to send it down to the very edge, but I did get it down here somewhat aggressive, that if they gave me the wind or something, side wind, maybe I can still go for it. It'd be nice to have a Titan on to really go for it, but too late now. This is crazy if this guy goes for the shot. This guy must really have some confidence in his wind play. Looks pretty decent with the shank. Look at that. It looked like if he would have hit perfect ball, he would have been kind of screwed there. Since he shanked it, it went perfect. So he might get there in 2, which could put some pressure on me. Let me see. It looks like I can get there in 2 there too. So that's good. What I do with Guardian is full backspin, and then I have to anticipate, well, how much power is going to just put it up on this cliff. So fulls here, I'm going to have to take off from that. So let's try it about here. And not bad. So it didn't cost me that he got over that. I was still able to get to the green. But you got to be real cautious on those, because like I was saying, you have to add enough power that the shot arrow is going to be up on top of the cliff there. If it's not, then you're not going to have enough. And you also got to make sure you don't overshoot it, because as soon as you add way too much, then the wind will just push that and you'll be in the long rough there. So you got to be very precise. And you also got to make sure that it's not, like 13 down, straight downwind, because what that does is it creates a gap that sometimes you can't account for and cover. So what I mean by that, so you can't put it short on the cliff, because like I was mentioning, it changes the trajectory just too much. So if you put it on the cliff there, it won't fly to the fairway. But it's kind of like the catch-22 is like, well, as soon as you put it on the fairway, well, then the wind plays full, and then, it goes like it's supposed to. So if it's like a 13 wind on my Guardian there, my Guardian right now is about half accuracy or 70% accuracy or something. And so it'll play, like a 10 wind would play 7 rings. So there's like a gap there of 7 rings that you basically can't land it on. Because as soon as you put it up on the cliff, it plays full. As soon as you bring it down off the cliff, it plays like a quarter, half as much wind, which is crazy. So overcoming that gap distance is kind of impossible. Or it's really, really tricky. Let me put it to you that way. It's not impossible. So this guy has some master tournaments in, and I'm just completing my first rookie tournament. Up over 400 games now. I basically did about 60 holes in the tournament, give or take. 60 some holes in the tournament, so. And that is a really nice shot. It is going to be really extremely hard for me to beat that, but let's give it a go. So first off, I like to land it, over here. You see, this is kind of my typical landing zone. Is I'll do kind of like right in here. So aside from this, like if I was treating this as my landing zone, I'm going to go, since I'm on the very north end of this club, I like to go about 2 rings per on this. So at least 5 here, maybe just a little bit extra. Let's see if I can get this going up there. Nope, I didn't correct enough for, shot correction. Plus it didn't roll up there. So you see this tour can be a little bit of a bear sometimes, especially when some guy executes a shot like that. 2.38 is very good on that hole. Extremely good. Almost nobody hits it that close, let me put it to you that way. So you can basically count the amount of times you're going to lose by that margin on that hole. And at the same time, I could get it to where I can still beat that shot. I should have just tried to counter that a little bit more, and for some reason it didn't roll out. I'm surprised by that. I would have thought that would have still ran out. I must have really hit that face. I probably didn't land it exactly where I needed to. So, but nevertheless, just consider that a learning experience, I guess. We'll just try to move on from it. These guys with master banners and clubs far superior to mine, it makes it extremely hard to take them down.
Great shot.
Just to get to the playoff hole on that guy, I had to be firing on all cylinders with the clubs that I'm using. I just need, just a couple more. If I could get, like, for example, so you see me using Thor 2, I feel like I could get through this tour very easily with Thor 4. So we're not talking about too big of a difference. Same with Extra Mile. If I can get to Extra Mile 7, kind of the same type of situation where I'd feel comfortable. I'm going to take off a little bit here, and I am going to hit this full here.
Great shot.
And you see what I'm doing with my drive? I'm putting right spin. What that does is it's just going to kind of... Did I take off enough? I hope I did. Oh, unforced error. It sucks when you do this, because this is a very makeable pitch. I make this one a lot. So I can still make it from the rough, but man, it's just nice. I mean, I can basically, kind of burn the edge from the fairway 80% of the time. So it's taking something that, I at least have a chance of a high success rate, and basically turning that down to significantly. So it's something you don't want to do, but it is what it is now. You just have to learn to, adjust from it. Usually the max that I do is 3 bars, which you saw me do, but usually when it's into the wind like that, it usually checks up a little bit better. So that's the reason that you saw me do that. So I'm at least half club here. I don't really know how well my Nirvana plays right now. It's all just kind of a guesstimation to me. But I'm assuming that I have to play at least a ring for sure, minimum. And I'm probably going to play a ring and a half. I'm also going to pull it back on the short side as well. Perfect ball. Let's see if I played the wind right. Too much. So it's more like a ring. So we'll figure it out. And that was probably, kind of close to half distance. So that just gives you a little guidance. If you have a Nirvana that's similar to mine, where is it, a 3? Whatever that accuracy number is, I'll have to look it up. But Probably one ring is probably very close to, when it comes in low like that, it's probably a lot closer to like 6 miles per hour, or 6. The wind seems to like half. So I think the actual accuracy number is maybe like 3 something, but since the trajectory is lower, it plays a little bit different. So since the trajectory is so much lower, it usually comes in about half. So you usually have to just about double the numbers. So let's say my accuracy there on half club is, well, whatever, which would put it, at, say it's 3 per ring. Well, then when it comes in low, like out of the rough, it's not really, well, that doesn't even make sense, because the accuracy, the worse that the accuracy can be. So the way that the rough works is nothing. Oh wow, look at this. Some crazy shots that we're seeing here. Yeah, I'm gonna need some luck after that. So anyway, when you're playing out of the rough, it plays completely different. Let me see if I can. So I'm actually pretty good at this shot like this. See if I can't just get this on this guy. Especially since he's over there thinking he's like hot stuff or something right now. So let me think about this. So I usually do about maybe 2.5 rings per when I'm more on the short end. So at least 2 rings, maybe just a shade more. I usually do just a tiny bit of curl as well. Got my perfect ball. Let's see if I can't get this to come in kind of reasonable. Nope. Crap. So I hit the top of the hill. As soon as it hits that bottom, it kicks right. So I only missed my mark by probably a yard, and then it would have actually kicked towards the hole. So again, we're seeing some good shots here. It's making this much harder. You just kind of got to roll with the punches in this tour. That's the best way to say it. Law of averages says, you play more games, you're not going to keep playing guys that make hole-in-ones. Like, it's just not going to happen. This is a hard tour to get hole-in-one. That's a hard hole to get. That is one of the hardest holes in the game. So I think that hole is really tricky. And so look, this might be enough wind to get there. It's at least close. I probably have to hit it pretty perfect ball. But this is actually probably pretty close. You're seeing what I'm doing here. It's usually about 1.5 per ring for me when it's downhill like this, downwind, which would push it about 8 rings, give or take. So all you're going to see me do is you're going to see me counter it this way to make it miss the trees. And then hopefully I have this somewhat on line to hit this fairway. It looks like I did. And then you're seeing it's just spinning through into the other side. So there's not too many winds that you can pull a shot off like that. But that is one that you can. So it's not essential that you get it over there, but kind of the upside is, even if I hit the rough on that other side, you can still get it to the green in 90% of, well, my Nirvana is kind of a short club, but still, even with the short Nirvana, and this is one thing you kind of want to avoid. So I'm surprised to see him hook it like that, because there he's purposely hitting the trees, and now he's in the bunker. So I don't know why he hooked it like that. And I hate when guys say good game, like in the middle of the round. It's like, dude, play your game. You can still make birdie. Like, I'm not interested in your, and it looks like he might even be pulling the plug. Like, it's just ridiculous. You can still just play the hole out. you might still make it. You never know. So we're right on the north end of the club here. And usually when we're on the north end here, you know, the way that I play this, it's about 2 per ring. So I would have moved there about 7 rings. Of course, we're not even going to get to see the shot. Now that he forfeited, that means I don't even have to play him again. So, you know, I'd rather not play guys like that anyway, so I'm glad he just, you know, knocked himself out. I mean, you saw that he just got the wind on the second shot. He could have got it into a pitching distance. So, I mean, he at least could have got it into short iron, I mean. At the worst, long iron. You could still make a long iron. So, not sure what all that was about. It's kind of annoying when guys do that. But it is what it is, I guess. So I don't think I have enough, especially with the way that's pointing, to get over that way. So it might be best to just lay up here for me. And by lay up, I mean still not lay up. Because you're still going to see me hit it as hard as possible. But the result is a layup. Because I can't go for the green in 2 now. So I'm really hoping this guy gets a similar wind. And even more so that his clubs aren't the bomb. Because if his clubs are really awesome, a win like that isn't going to keep him from, you know, just completely dominating me here and just hitting this green in 2. So I basically have to completely, and as you see, a Pak 4, plus he didn't get as much wind in the face. Chances are he can pull this off. So it's one of those frustrating things. They gave me too much wind in the face. I don't have the top spin that he has. I don't have the distance that he has. I just can't go that way. So I got to get creative, and I got to try to beat him, or at least tie him. So I still feel I can tie him. He still has to execute here, so that's kind of step 1 here is execution. It looks like he's on a pretty good line. So let's just verify that he missed the bunker. He did. And he's in the fairway. So 90% of the time now, he's going to be on the green in 2. So I'm already kind of up against it a little bit, but I'm not out. So I'm trying to, I've never really had to play it from over here. So I'm going to just try to kind of guesstimate what I need to do. First thing you're going to see me do is I'm still going to try to hit that fairway over there with some curl and just get it as close down the fairway as I can. Now, it is very crucial that I hit that fairway over there, but I don't know how much I actually, and I didn't. So now I'm really up against it. So as you can see, that's way uphill, and I completely overplayed that wind. So hopefully, you know, next time I can hopefully use that as kind of a guide for me, that it doesn't play, I mean, it plays uphill here and you can't add on extra rings. Like I basically played it at about 1.5 per, which is what it would be on a normal power shot, but it looks like since it was so uphill, it didn't make it to that landing zone that I was using as my target. So I'll remember that for next time. The worst part about that shot is I don't know if my two backspin that I was putting on there would have hopped it and then been in the other fairway. So it's unfortunate that I'm not going to find out because I might play it again next time and then 2 backspin doesn't reach that fairway. And what I was trying to do is make it reach that fairway but not roll off the green or not roll through into the rough. So that's why you saw me putting backspin. You saw the way he played his second shot, and that's definitely the way to do it. So we're going to have to see if I can, and again, so you're seeing there's, so I'm a little on I'm kind of in the same boat that you saw me in last time, which it's going to be kind of close to half distance. So now that I'm starting to figure out this club a little bit better, I'm hoping I can start to get a little honed in here. So first off, I'm going to put it this way because it's easier to get my spin. And then second off is I'm only going to play this about a ring or so. Ah!
Great shot.
Let's see how hot that comes in. It looks like it might have been underplayed because it was downwind. I probably should have added a tiny bit because you could just tell just by how hot it was coming in. So you could see that the way that I was playing it wasn't enough wind play. Since it was downwind and it was past the hole, it shouldn't have been past the hole. So it's kind of annoying to play this guy, but I'm not going to forfeit to him. When I see somebody with Apocalypse 4, it's almost better just to forfeit to him, so I don't have to face him again. Because not facing him will eliminate a guy that's Apoc 4. Because right now I'm just kind of breaking even on matches, and you can't break even on Tour 10. You just have to win more than you lose. And you see, I'm in more of a situation where my clubs are just 100% worse than these guys. So, and this kind of is going to be a good sign here. So this guy has just a bunch of rookie banners. So he's not going to be dealing with Tour 6 clubs and all kinds of good stuff. But, of course, we draw a hole that it's going to make it hard for me. This really frustrates me. So I don't have my mile on. And it's just going to be hard for me to, get this there and actually make the eagle.
Great shot.
That looks pretty good. So what you see me try to do is I try to curl it a little bit extra around those trees so I don't wind up in that bunker. So one of the things that guys don't realize is, it opens up behind those trees. And most guys don't understand that, so they don't get aggressive enough on the trees. So you see a lot of shots in the bunker. And this is kind of what I expected coming up into this guy, was that he was going to have, an extra mile, something ridiculous, and he was going to be able to get it up there by the green. So that means that I also have to make my eagle. If I don't make my eagle here, I could just be, basically forfeiting the match. And this is kind of one of the guys that I shouldn't be forfeiting a match to, because he's more my caliber of guy that I need to be playing against. He doesn't have the Apocalypse 4. He doesn't have, all this good stuff. So his angle's a little bit harder. He can still obviously make that pitch, but my pitch is going to be a little bit easier than his. In fact, there's no reason that I shouldn't make this. If I miss this, it's a complete goof up. There's no reason to miss this. So what you see me do usually is, I'll add some power just to be able to, and then the next thing, I'll try to figure out the line. You see I'm wasting a bunch of time here trying to get it. It looks kind of like that. And aside from that, I'll just have to play like a ring or so. Let's just hope that I got this going where it needs to be. And I do not.
Nice on.
So that's one of the problems with my Endbringer. It doesn't have enough ball trail. You can't see it going down the hill. So I basically have to keep turning the screen and looking down the hill. So a little frustrating. Playing it like this isn't really ideal, but you can do it. I don't recommend doing this, but it's not to say that he can't pull it off, because obviously he can. All he has to do is just have, sound wind play. But what you see end up happening when you point shots like this is it won't land how you originally had thought that it was going to, and then it'll cut in front of the hole or behind the hole or something. And that's what you're kind of seeing there, is it didn't land and roll in. It landed just on the back side and then didn't roll in. It's easier to use the slope, so if you have something that has like 4 ball trail there, you're gravy. That shot is just overcomplicated, the one that I was just trying to play, because it's not showing it rolling down the hill for me. What you're supposed to see is the ball trail down towards the hole, and then once you see it down towards the hole, well, you can just easily line it up, and then, on that wind, I would have just had to play it like a ring and a half, 2 rings. The difference between 1 and 2 rings would be enough to make you miss. So, okay, so the strategy that I usually use for this hole is I like to keep the ball moving. You're going to see, I'm going to try to play a shot that has 2 top spin here. I like to really just force this ball to, keep moving. So I'm going to play about 2 per ring here. I'll probably do this one with curl. And like I said, just keep the ball moving. So what do I do to keep the ball moving? Is I'll put hook, I'll put top spin, I'll do all kind, and that's kind of the way that. Now, I haven't played this on this tour yet, so bear with me. I might not perfect it on the first go, but what you want to see is you want to see this ball just shooting down off this cliff, which it is. It just probably didn't quite get deep enough, so it's not going to be quite as good as it needs to be. So you need to get it up that hill just a tiny bit more. So you're seeing my shot's a little bit lazy, and I'm hoping, next time I can come and correct this. 2.39, it's not terrible, but this guy should be able to beat it, especially shot copying. All he'd have to do is make one slight adjustment and just, hit it with more momentum than me. Play my exact same shot, more momentum. So that's what I would recommend. And you see, that's the way he's setting it up. He has his ball trail, and at this point you can already see the way that this is going to go. His ball's coming in faster than mine. Chances are, he's already done what he needs to do to beat me. Regardless of, hitting perfect ball here, it's not crucial. The biggest thing is, that you just keep the ball moving down the slope here. Ooh, and he did get it checking. This might not beat mine. This is crazy. It's going to be close anyway, let me put it to you that way. So that's crazy. So I kind of lucked into a win there. You see, he brought his in a little too hot, and when you bring it in a little too hot, what you see there is it gets caught on that fringe, that back fringe. And that's why I was saying about trying to ride the slope and keeping it moving. You see, his got restricted. You don't want it to do that, and usually it doesn't. But you're seeing his shot do that. So I'm hoping, from this part forward, after finally seeing that hole, I should be able to play a little bit better for you guys. So hopefully next time that one comes up, I should be able to make a minor adjustment there and kind of show you guys what you're looking for. Whether you're using mile or not important. That guy basically kind of got just an unlucky break, to be honest with you. He should have beat me. His ball was coming in faster than mine. He just had it to where it was coming in a little too fast. So sometimes it'll come in too fast and then kind of ride that back fringe and then kind of get snagged. What you want it to do is fire off like mine, but you just want it to fire off like that a little bit deeper, like a little bit more towards the back slope. And it's very easy to pull off. Like I said, you just keep the ball kind of moving at all times. Like you play it high up on the slope, let it roll down, stuff like that. So hopefully you guys can get the gist of that one. I don't want to see you lose tiebreakers on that one. I don't like losing tiebreakers on that one. I was always good at that one when I perfected this tour on my other. But it's, you know, it's also, it's kind of a crapshoot. There is some strategy to it, but when you hit it 1.1 and your opponent comes in 1.06, it's just like, come on, give me a break. Like, it's all just kind of a fluke, because there's, how are you going to adjust it and how are you going to make that shot go point, you know, 0.5 closer? It's very tricky to do that. So the way that I usually play this is a little bit, you know, towards the left, leaving enough room that I'm okay. I don't send it too deep up into that shadow. Of course, I mean, you're seeing I really don't have the choice to, but even if I did have the choice to, I basically put it where you just saw me put it. It doesn't need to be up in that shadow, so don't do it. That's kind of the best advice I can give you for this one. It's a good angle when you don't have to come in over that bunker. I know it really doesn't affect things, like the bunker never comes into play, but you're already at a good angle here, so that's what I don't understand, is why guys will do that. So this guy's doing this with what, topspin? This is a little bit different shot. I don't recommend playing it with topspin, but I'm not saying you can't. The problem that I have with topspin is you can't, well, that's one of the problems. Landed it short and didn't hit it. Like, if you play it with backspin, you're never going to land it short there. Like, it's impossible because you're landing it on the green. So the way you're going to see me play it is a little bit different. You see this landing zone's a little funky. I'm going to try to avoid that a little bit. You're going to see me do it with some curl here. It seems like the shot. You're also going to see me put the arrow like that. So I'm going to probably do about 5 rings here. And it looked like my speed was right, but the angle that I pulled back at wasn't. Because that shot far left. And it might have also hit that glitchy spot that I was trying to avoid too. I'm not really sure. You could see where it was kind of flopping. Two different, so I was trying to put some spin on that to avoid hitting that altogether. I don't know if I did. But it looked like my speed was pretty good, so it shouldn't have been that far off. It seems awkward that it was about 3 yards left, but had perfect speed. So when it has perfect speed like that, what that tells you is you didn't underplay the wind. All right, so let's see if we can get this again. I'm sure we're gonna have, a different wind from last time. Much different, and you're seeing, we're right towards the north end of Guardian here, and when I'm at the long end of Guardian, I usually play at about 1.7 per or 1.6 per in this case when it's downwind. You're gonna see me play it like that. 1.6 per, at least 6 or 7 rings. And of course I had that little shank at the end. So I'm sure this is going to come out to the right. But not too bad overall. But it might have been spot on had I not shanked that. And I've really had to hit a half-decent shot because this guy has sniper, which means he's going to be able to get really accurate here. Now, it's good that he used the Marlin because he's making this shot harder on himself. So I kind of got lucky here. So this is, you know, quintessential ball shot, like ball choice kicking you in the ass here, because he's got to envision this shot a lot more than I had to. You see, I had enough club, everything. This guy's got to kind of pull this out and just envision the shot, whereas I'm actually, you know, calculating the shot. So it's two completely different scenarios, and I feel like for that reason alone, it's going to be very challenging for this guy to beat my shot, being in there so tight. And as you're seeing, you know, he blocked it out. You know, trying to create that shot out of thin air isn't the easiest thing to do. It's very doable, but you got to be right on your game. And you got to basically visualize the shot, because you can't really see how many rings that's playing downwind and all that. So and of course this guy couldn't have waited 5 more seconds to disconnect. He had to go and do it this way, the douchey way. So hopefully with this guy, you know, having the rookie banner, I'm hoping he could be in a similar position as you see me in, which is this is challenging to get this ball down there and play this hole for eagle. So I'm hoping to get the wind on the second shot, kind of make my life a little bit easier, because I have a feeling that, you know, I'm going to be outdrove, I'm going to be all this nasty stuff, almost no matter what. Now that's a good sign. They gave him straight in the face, but he has Thor's Hammer 4, which I think has at least 8 or 9 yards plus topspin on me. So this is where I was telling you, if I can get to his club, end game. I can win out with his club. So I really only need maybe to do a pro tournament, win the tournament. If I do that and get lucky and get Thor's Hammer in the chest, you know, hopefully have enough Thor cards to have a Thor 4. So I won't even have to complain if I have his driver. And wow, I cannot believe he dumped it in the rough. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Fairway's so huge, you don't even have to aim aggressive here. So let's see if I can get home. Doesn't look like it. If I would have been able to get home, I could have just, you know, beat this guy straight up. And it doesn't look like I'm able to. So he called a break, that it didn't give it to me downwind with his mistake. Oh man, that shot was terrible. Can't believe I released that early in the bunker. I should have been in the fairway and still had a chance to pitch that in. I mean, I still have a chance to pitch it in. I don't know why you're saying thanks. I mean, even if I didn't hit it there, it's not like I was getting it on the green. You could clearly see I couldn't hit the fairway on that first hop. You should be thanking the game, the golf gods, because if I had your club and was in my spot, there's no way I wouldn't have had enough club to get there. So, you know, you can almost consider it, I'm fortunate, because if you would have hit it, of course you did it with Katana, but if you would have used the Kingmaker, and tried to put it out where I did, assuming your clubs are good enough to get there and mine aren't. So it's just one of those things that would be sucky for me. So let's see if I can get this to run out. I usually do about ring per here, maybe. I mean, I really don't know, but I'd estimate maybe about a ring here. I'm super bad right now with my timing. It looks like I pulled back too much, plus it didn't run out. Probably wasn't even a ring there. So I got to start, figuring out how much to pull back on bunker shots, because now that I'm actually like, this is the first time, this is the first tour that I'm actually finding myself in compromising situations. So it's been the first time that I've even had to figure out what I need to do to make bunker shots or whatever, because I'm just not playing from bunkers. So everything's just kind of a guess until you start honing in a little bit. Like now I have kind of a general idea for rough shots. And now, with learning what just happened there and how it came up way short, I overplayed that wind. So maybe it's 6 or 7, or maybe like where I was, it was
Perfect shot.
more like 9 or 10 yards per ring there, and I didn't even need but a box, 0.9 of a box. So just something to keep in mind for the future. Good news is we'll get to see tiebreaker hole. It'd be nice to just beat these guys straight up. It just sucks that wind in the face. I can barely get over the cliff. Can't even hit the fairway. Now I shouldn't have been in the bunker. That was just a really awful shot. So it's something. I was kind of bailing out to the right because I knew if I did that same shot to the left, I'd be off the cliff probably. So I was just being a little cautious and shouldn't have hit it like that though. If I would have put it in the fairway, we might not even made it to the playoff hole. And that's good though. So we're going to get to see this one because I haven't played this one. I haven't played this one yet either. So my strategy is a little bit different on this one. Same thing, same general idea though. You want to keep the ball rolling. So I'm going to do it with just 1 bar of backspin here. And I'm going to use this as my general landing zone. Maybe just a touch of curl. And I maybe played that 7 rings. But it was kind of just fast and just kind of a guess. And what you want is you want it to come off there and just kind of slingshot down. I can't tell if I had quite enough momentum. I think it might be a tiny bit short and to the right. And it's within 1.5 yards, I think, or 2 yards. It's 2 yards. He should beat that. But you never know. He's got a bad wind. So let me just say kind of the difference. His wind's not as down as mine, so I would probably play it more like him, which is not backspin at all. The reason that I was even putting any backspin was mine was downwind. So again, he's going to be in the same boat. He's going to need to go at least 6 rings here, 7, somewhere in that neighborhood. Oh, you know what? He might even have more accuracy than I do, so he might actually have to go a little bit even farther than that. But let's see how he plays it. He's not even using any curl. Looks like he definitely overplayed the wind. That doesn't mean it's not going to come back and be perfect, because it looks pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. Just made it to the green. I think it's going to roll down the hill. Now the question is, when it comes down slow like that, is it inside 2 yards? It looks like it's not. So I was just able to knock this guy off, kind of the same boot. So you're seeing that guy kind of get bad break, but he did overplay that wind, so if there's something you can take from that, it's about overplaying that. You don't need to. You want to be a little cautious. So let me go ahead. I'm coming up on an hour here. See what hole they give us. It's the same guy. Oh, we've already played this one. So let's try to make an adjustment. So this one's a little bit more downwind. He's going to have a distinct advantage over me. I'm a little worried on this one. But I think being downwind, I have enough to be competitive here. So let's see if I can't just hit this and run it through. Now, I'm going to need to go at least 5 rings here. So you're going to see me do that with my adjustment. I'm going to go a little outside 5 rings. Maybe 6 rings. Better be safe than sorry.
Perfect shot.
And it looks like I overplayed it. It wasn't 6 rings. And what you're seeing is, so I should have stuck to my guns there and did 5 rings, as I did at least 6. And it was obviously too cautious. This guy, he's going to want to do the same shot. It's going to be way easier for him now. He can do it 5 rings with right spin. It looks like he's still only going to do it 4. I would do it, so here's how I would play it. I would play at least, since it's way downwind, I'd probably play it 4.5. And I'd just, I wouldn't land it as far down the fairway. His wind's also way easier than mine. He doesn't have to worry about overplaying the wind. All he has to do is make sure he hits the fairway. That's all. He hits the fairway, the line is automatically perfect. Whereas mine, I had to play left and right, and also back and forward. This guy only has to play back and forward. So he underplayed it, and you're seeing him in the bunker because of it. But that's a big error. So that's one of the things that you'd see me, like if I was on my main account with my Apocalypse, like I would know to not ever do that. So that's just something to keep in mind. Just don't ever overshoot that fairway. Be on the safe shot, especially when you have 5 rings. If you have 5 rings to play around with, what are you doing? What are you doing not using all 5 of them and going long? Like, that's just crazy in my opinion.
Perfect shot.
And this time you're seeing me make the correction. I'm making the pitch. So that's one of the advantages to my overplay there, is you see you're able to get it real close to the hole. I mean, I'm basically a perfect ball away from making the eagle. When you get it that close, you see how much wind I played from that bunker. It was left inside edge, so I didn't even have to leave the cup to play that wind. And you saw I was kind of playing it with 2 bars of backspin and then making the 3rd hop right in front of the hole, so it just softly rolls in. And you're just seeing it kind of play ideally. So just something to keep in mind. know where your misses are going to be, and if you know, it's okay being over there somewhere. You don't want to make the miss that guy did. Anything hitting the first fairway there is better than not hitting the fairway at all. So just keep that in mind, because I want you guys to, you know, be as close as you can to the green and just work on that timing. That, you know, the more sand shots you play, for example, like right now, I'm just not playing very many sand shots. I'm not in the sand. And plus, I'm not playing the game on a regular basis. So it's like getting that timing down is brutal. I mean, I used to be playing, you know, 50 holes a day. And now, all of a sudden, I'm playing way less. And not only way less, I'm not in bunkers. So this is really the first tour that you're even seeing me in bunkers at all. So it's been like, you know, weeks where I might hit a bunker shot a day, and then all of a sudden I have these weak clubs and, you know, miscalculation. So it's just going to take some getting used to. I'm just starting this tour, so it's going to take some getting used to and actually honing in on that a bit. But plus, you're seeing, like, there's just sometimes I can only do all that I can. I'm sure some of you guys are in the same boat. So just play smart, do all that you can, and try not to, if you don't have to, don't leave a stroke out there. And that's kind of the best advice that I'm going to give you guys for this one. I am going to be doing more videos for you guys. I'm going to try to do at least 4 hours for Tour 10, because I get so many questions on this tour. So I'm going to really try to just bulk down and, you know, just grind out a bunch of matches with these lower level clubs, and you guys are going to, you know, get first-hand experience. I strongly suggest you guys put Guardian on, and aside from that, you don't have to copy my bag at all. That's the one club that I'm just saying probably should have. The only alternate would be Sniper, but I honestly think that you shouldn't be using Sniper on Tour 10, because I just think there's a few holes that Guardian's just going to save you, because you're going to need that backspin shot. For example, I mean, you saw me get to the green on that 1-2 for Eagle, that driving that green. I might not have got on the green with Sniper. It would have been a much harder shot. So, you know, it's just kind of a safety net. And there's some tiebreakers that are like that too, where having that Guardian, that backspin, might save you. So keep it in mind, and, you know, good luck with your Tour 10. Feel free to subscribe to my videos if you haven't already, and feel free to check out my other Tour 10 videos that I'll be posting up for you guys too. So good luck all.